Hey everyone, welcome into a live episode of Q&A with Big J. I am your host, Big J, and I'm excited to be here today. What are we? We are 10 days from when camp starts. Oh my goodness, 10 days. It's a lot to take in. That's a lot to handle right now. I gotta be honest. As a camp director, as someone who does what I do for a living, this is it. This is the World Series. This is the Super Bowl. This is the NBA Finals. This is kind of the culmination of our year. And we're so excited to be here at this point with everyone in our staff and everyone on our team and all of the folks who are just working so hard and putting so much time and effort into preparing for the camp season. You know, it's a pretty amazing feat when you talk about what goes into preparing for a camp season, what we're all doing. You know, we work on this all year. We call it living 10 for 2, and it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing what goes into creating a camp season all year, and then how it comes down to the nitty gritty always at the end. No matter how prepared you are, there's always stuff that pops up. There's always questions. There's always things that are unexpected. And as I sit here today from my office here at our main office in Farmingdale, I'm really excited for everything. You know, we are the kind of folks here at Camps R Us that thrive under this type of pressure, under this type of excitement, having all the nerves and butterflies for the first day coming up in only 10 days. It's really something special. So welcome in. Thank you for being here. Hey, Kimberly, how are you? Glad you're back for your 4th year in Farmingdale. We've been at the Farmingdale campus all week with staff training. You might have seen some of the pictures go up. I'm going to start posting those in Campanion as well. I keep forgetting throughout the year, you know, when Campanion starts kicking in for the summer season, we really want to post up there too. But we've been putting them up on Facebook, Instagram. We've had hundreds of staff this week so far, and they've been fantastic with coming in for training, coming in for orientation, really doing an incredible job, just focused and determined and having a good time and meeting new friends and learning all the things. Returning staff, new staff, everybody's been really having a wonderful experience so far, and we're just very excited about it. Today we are going to talk about a lot of stuff. We're going to kind of go rapid fire, have a lot of questions that were sent in via email, so thank you to those of you who sent everything over to us. I'm actually pulling them up on the computer here too. When we run live Q&A, it's kind of like you're sitting in the office with me, so I'm pulling everything up. We're going to share on video right now. You probably see me if you're watching on the video talking. I'll pull up and do some screen sharing in a little bit. And then, of course, everything we talk about, we're going to post. We're going to send out. I promise I'll get to everyone's questions. I know a lot of you are throwing up comments right now. Don't worry. We're going to get you all set for summer. We're going to make sure that you feel comfortable for your first day. We're going to make sure you're ready. We're going to make sure you know all the things. It's, after all, you know, it's a parent experience over the summer too. I always like to say that, you know, it's your camp, it's your summer as well. And it's important for you to know that we're thinking about you too. You know, it's not just the kids. The kids, of course, are the most important thing. Camp is for the kids, but, you know, we take care of our staff. We take care of our parents. We want to make sure you feel good about everything. And I'm going to show you all of the cool stuff that's going to happen for parents too. And hopefully you're excited as I am. I get to be a camp dad, and being a parent at camp is probably one of the most special things I get to do as a dad, as a camp professional. And I know the folks who work with us who also get to be parents are excited about it too. So I'm glad we have so many parents on with us. Let me pull up some questions off the bat and see if we can get some answered for you. Okay, let's take a look. So Tesla asks, will I get a list of all the things my child needs day to day? What to wear, snack food, that sort of thing? Actually, yeah, you will. So it's really cool. We wait until the week before camp opens, until a week before opening day. That's going to be on Monday. Monday is a week out. And we send out an email. Used to be an old-fashioned letter. We don't do letters anymore for a lot of reasons. One, it takes too long to get to you, and we would have to send it out earlier than a week before, and then it gets lost and you don't have it. Two, the cost of postage is very expensive. That helps us to keep our costs down, to be perfectly honest with you. And three, email is automatic, and you can click on links that will give you information about all the things about camp. So what I'd like to do here, I'm actually going to switch over and show you my screen here. I have the Camps R Us website up. Let me fix that in the screen there a little bit. So if you can take a look, you see this is if you see it on the desktop version. There we go. The desktop version of campsrus.org. There it is. I'm just going to line it up here. I'm looking at my screen. I have all this stuff here because I make space for some other things. All right, so this is the hero section of our website. It's the topmost part, but in here you have our big mega menu, and there's a great section in here. There's actually two great sections. The first one I want to show you, and we'll talk through it, and I'll also make sure this gets shared out. This goes out in the welcome email too. It's called Getting Ready for Camp. So it's under the Explore Camp section, Getting Ready for Camp, and it's really great to understand what you need every day. It's day camp, so you're not packing up and coming to camp. You're bringing everything every day. We don't store anything at camp, so keep that in mind. So to answer this question, what do you need every day? Well, you need to know how to dress. So we want to talk about daily camp attire. That's simple. It's t-shirt, shorts, socks, and sneakers. And it doesn't exactly have to be that. I have little girls who like to wear dresses sometimes. That's fine. As long as you're comfortable playing, as long as you have something where you can move around and be physical and active, as long as you have full foot protection on your feet, sneakers are a must, you're good to go. So when it comes to footwear, we talk a lot about this on this page, but you have to have footwear that provides protection for your feet, right? You have to have something that covers your whole foot. And it's important because we do a lot of activities, indoors, outdoors, a lot of high level stuff. We're running, we're jumping, we're all doing all kinds of stuff with sports and activities where we're very physical. So we want to protect our feet. We even have you wear footwear during water activities. So footwear is important. Can't do sandals, Crocs, Heelys, if those are still a thing, flip-flops. None of that stuff while you're at camp. You can do sandals, Crocs, or flip-flops while you're at the swimming pool, and we'll talk about swimming in a little bit. But that's only on the pool deck. That's only while you're at the pool. Your regular attire, t-shirt, shorts, socks, and sneakers. Now, the only thing that changes is when you have a day when you travel off campus. And we'll talk about that too. I'll get into bonus trips. I know a lot of folks want to ask about bonus trips. When you go off campus, you're going to have a camp t-shirt that you need to wear. Every camper gets 2 complimentary t-shirts. You get that on your first day of camp. We distribute those at dismissal. You also get your backpack and your water bottle. That all comes out first day of camp. And when you bring those home, you're going to label everything. If you ordered your labels in advance, great. If not, Sharpie works just fine. And all of our gear on the backpack and water bottle actually has a little space blocked off for you to add a name with Sharpie. For shirts, I would just do it in the collar. Most of our shirts don't have a tag, but you could do it right in the collar with a Sharpie. That's laundry safe. And you get 2 shirts. We started doing 2 shirts last year because we heard from a lot of folks, it's a lot to do laundry when I have 2 off-campus activities within a couple of days of each other. And I agree. And if you haven't been at camp before and you're like, man, I got to buy extra shirts, you don't need that expense. So we threw in 2 shirts for you this summer and last summer, and so you get 2 shirts. If you do want extras, you can buy them. They're $10 each. While supplies last, they are very popular. We always run out, I have to be honest. We order a lot of shirts every year. It's like a retail store in our warehouse. And from where I'm sitting, if you hear any noise in the background, I tried to keep it quiet, but I have a really good microphone here. And it's important to know that the guys are working. So if you hear loud banging noises, they're moving a lot of heavy equipment. The special ops team is like really moving well. I mean, these guys are working hard to get all our stuff out to camps. And if you've never seen the back of our warehouse, if you ever pop over for a visit to the Farmingdale main office, definitely ask to see the back. It's not so much fun during the summer because all the stuff's out at camp. You can go see that at camp. But during the year, it's really fun to see where all of this stuff goes. This time of year, it's like It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's like a big distribution center. I feel like we work here at Amazon, but we don't. I know we're not Amazon, but it's pretty cool. So getting back to what I was saying, if you hear loud noises, you're okay. If you come back to where I was talking about attire, t-shirt, shorts, socks, sneakers, camp t-shirt on days you travel off campus. We'll go over what those days are. Those are swimming days and trip days, and we'll talk about those in a moment. Thank you all so much for the questions that are up already. We're going to get to all of you, I promise. We talked about footwear, swimsuits. We want a swimsuit every day at camp because we do water activities every single day. And what we recommend is that if you have a tiny tot or a kinder camper, that you wear your swimsuit to camp under your clothes or for the boys as their shorts. It's easier than changing at camp and doing that twice in a day. It helps the staff to get them into activities sooner, helps them to get moving a little bit quicker for the day. So just wear a swimsuit to camp every day. We do that for our girls. They wear it as an undergarment instead of their regular underwear, and then they change out of it once it's wet. We always want you to bring a swimsuit. We want you to bring some type of plastic bag, Ziploc bag, or if you get the reusable wet bag, those are on Amazon. I know those are very popular lately. They are reusable, so you can just get a wet bag to put in your camper's backpack, just to stow wet swimsuits and towels once water play is over for the day. You're also going to bring a beach towel. Make sure that they have a towel every day. And then other stuff to consider, it's not much, to be honest with you. For tiny tots and kinder campers, we always say keep a change of clothes stored at camp. Tiny tots will store it in their classroom. Kinder campers, it'll be stored in the office in case of an emergency. And that doesn't always mean a bathroom emergency. It could be an arts and crafts accident, could be a lunch thing, could be that they spilled some ice cream on it, and you don't want to go about your day with dirty clothes if you could avoid it. So we want, an extra t-shirt, shorts, a pair of socks, and I would probably put 2 pair of underwear. I don't know why we call it pairs of underwear. That's a thing. We'll have to dive into that in another episode. Maybe over the winter when we're not talking so much about camp, we can just talk about life on Q&A with Big J. I don't know. If anyone's interested in figuring out stuff like that, that kind of stuff interests me. But 2 underwears in a shoebox or a similar size, plastic reusable container is fine, or a Ziploc bag is fine. That's all you need every day for camp. Optional stuff is like a hat if you want your child to wear a hat outdoors. We don't do hats indoors. If your child needs to wear sunglasses outside, of course, if they wear regular glasses, we prefer a strap or some type of sporty glasses, just for protection, just to make sure they stay safe. I would recommend the campers do not wear jewelry of any kind to camp, just for safety. Any type of thing on their hands, wrists, or necks, as far as jewelry goes, it can cause injury if you're doing stuff in an active way, and always by accident, but it can happen if you're going to grab something or you're going to do something. Earrings are okay as long as they're stud earrings. So if you wear earrings, stud earrings are fine. Hoop earrings, not okay for camp. We do the same thing for staff too, and we always recommend that you just do as much as you can to limit jewelry. For staff, it's usually just, if they have a wedding band or some other type of simple jewelry on their hand is fine, but wristbands, wrist jewelry, stuff around your neck, that kind of stuff, we usually tell you keep that at home. Also, just to protect it too, you don't have to worry about it. Makeup, perfumes, colognes, things like that, not recommended. Not making any judgment on there. I would make sure you put your deodorant on every day if you're an older camper who does that. But you don't need anything else on top of that. You're going to get sweaty. You're going to get messy. You're going to probably, when you come home, not smell as good as when you came to camp. I'm going to just be honest with everybody on that one. That's just how it goes. So don't worry about that. No judgment here. It's camp. It's cool. You might actually come home smelling like sunscreen, and if you know our camps, our sunscreen has a particular smell. It's not a bad smell. It's not a good smell. It's just the smell of sunscreen. So don't even worry about it. Speaking about sunscreen, and this was a great question, Tesla. Thank you, because it covers a lot of stuff. Here's what we do with sunscreen. You're going to apply sunscreen at home before you leave the house for camp. Just right before you go, once the kids are getting dressed and everything. We do it when the girls are in their bathing suits, because we cover all the parts of their body that'll be exposed to the sun when they do water activities. So it's always best to put a base coat of sunscreen on cool, dry skin. That's just from a health and wellness standpoint. It's more effective when it's applied to cool, dry skin. If your skin is already damp or wet, it's not going to work the right way. And you could tell if you use a lotion ever that it doesn't kind of go into your skin the right way. And if your skin is already hot, you don't get the full protective features of the sunscreen. So cool, dry skin in the morning, right before you get dressed for the time right before you leave for camp. It's their first line of defense against UV exposure. And During the day, we provide the rest of the sunscreen. So we use a company called Rocky Mountain Sunscreen. They are the industry standard for summer camps across the country. They're a fantastic company. They make great products, and we use a spray gel sunscreen. So it sprays on. Campers have full protection for 90 minutes to 120 minutes. So that's an hour and a half to 2 hours. It's even waterproof because, well, you can't say it's waterproof, but it's pretty waterproof because it has an alcohol base, and it's SPF 50 or more. Some of them are 70, some of them are 50. I think this year's are 50, which is more than enough SPF protection, full spectrum, broad spectrum. You don't need to worry about sunscreen during the day. If you have a particular brand that your child likes, or they have sensitive skin or some other type of issue, we are authorized through your camper application to apply any type of sunscreen. It's excluded from any medical distribution policy. Like, so when we give out medications and stuff, which if anyone has questions, pop it up in the chat. We have to have authorization for that stuff. For sunscreen, it's already authorized, so we can help with that. Okay, so we talked about a backpack and water bottle. As far as drinks go, I would bring your reusable Camps R Us water bottle, fully labeled with your child's name. For group name, when it says label with their group name, just put their current grade. If you put your child's current grade, that's all we need to know which group they're in. All of our campers in the same grades are grouped together. So it's name, current school grade. When I say current school grade, because there's a little confusion on this, current school grade is the grade they're finishing this June. So the grade they're finishing this week or next week is their current grade for camp. Alrighty? And so you're going to bring that in your backpack with your swimsuit, your towel. You're going to pack lunch. Campers bring their lunch every day. We say we brown bag it, but we know with modern concerns for the environment, we don't always want to just use a brown bag. You can use a reusable soft-sided bag as long as it's approximately the size of a brown bag. Because of space requirements, we keep everything refrigerated, so you want to make sure that it's small enough to fit in the fridge. So don't bring a big cooler, don't bring a giant bag. You do not have to put ice packs in it. We refrigerate everything. From home to the car to into camp, not too long for it to go right back in the fridge. It's an industrial fridge, so it keeps everything nice and cold. So brown bag lunch, we just typically say a sandwich, a snack, a drink. No glass bottles, aluminum cans, carbonated stuff. Not for health reasons, but because it makes a mess if it opens up. No chewing gum, candy, or lollipops. And if we provide, by the way, if we ever provide candy as part of an activity, like through Edible Art or stuff like that, or Willy Wonka Day this year, you'll know about it in advance. Most of that stuff just comes home first before they eat it. We provide the drinks throughout the day, so the reusable water bottle can be refilled. Fill it up at home with water or whatever beverage you like. And then during the course of the day, campers can always refill with ice cold water. We have flavored drinks, a bunch of different flavors. It's all naturally sweetened stuff. So it's really just flavoring and cane sugar mix. So we also water it down so it's not like too sugary. I promise parents, it's not that bad. But it is better tasting, so we can keep kids hydrated if they don't just like the plain old water. We do have disposable cups. We have a new cup policy this year for staff, and they're going to learn about it tomorrow at staff training. It's very unique and interesting, but it's helping us save cups and still be able to provide them to campers who don't have a reusable water bottle, but those are available as well. We have pizza parties once a week. If you go to campsrus.org, actually, here we go. I'll pop it up because if you're looking at the screen, and when I share this recording, you'll be able to see it. It's campsrus.org/pizza-parties. This is also linked in the parent guide, which we'll talk about. So here we have the summer schedule for pizza parties. You can sign up in your camp account. That's either Camp in Touch on your computer or the Campanion app on your cell phone. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, or Fridays, depending on your campus. And then it also tells you where we get the pizza from. Not only because we just want to be transparent about where we're ordering from, but also want to patronize these businesses that help us out during the summer. They deliver out thousands of slices of pizza to us every summer, and they take care of our campers and staff. So we want to hopefully give them some more business. They're all great folks, all small family businesses, and they do a great job for us. And so we would love if you patronize them too. So we do 3 lunch periods a day. And the pizza is delivered for each lunch period, so it's fresh when it gets there. Every camper's offered up to 2 slices. We just do plain pizza, no toppings. If you want your child to have a smaller portion, just let your group leader know. Group leader is the person who's in charge of that age group. You'll see them every single day at arrival and dismissal. They'll be right at the front desk to do attendance and to say hello and to give you some updates on camp. They are your point person. They're your contact person for everything about your child's group. And the group leaders are fantastic. We had them in for training last night. What an amazing group of people. And, we have a lot of returning group leaders, a lot of new ones who have been promoted through the ranks, a lot of folks coming in from other camp experiences or, with an educational background. And they had such a great training last night. You're going to love having conversations with them. You're going to love talking with them. And they are going to be able to set up things like pizza portions. They're going to be able to talk to you about field trips, changes to schedule, all that kind of stuff. Same drinks available on pizza day. It's $5 a week if you sign up. That just covers the cost of the pizza. For campers, we also give complimentary pizza to the staff. So if you're ordering for pizza parties for your child, you're also supporting your staff because they get free pizza as well. It's really nice. It's a nice treat for them. If your child's not on campus during lunchtime or on pizza day at all, you will not be charged. So if you sign up for pizza day and you're not scheduled for that day of camp, you won't be charged. You just won't get pizza. If you're off campus on a trip, if you're absent that day, the directors will let our staff know not to charge you. Of course, if you ever see charges in your account that shouldn't be there, just let us know. As most of you know, Camps R Us, as big as we are, is one of the largest employers of staff over the summertime. As many campuses and campers we have, we're a very small, family-oriented kind of team. And the main office consists of only 6 staff members full-time. So we handle everything together. We talk to families every single day. And if you have any issues or concerns, you can call us, you can email us, you can text us, you can chat us through the website or on social media. The chat, by the way, always goes to a live person. You'll get an automated message that says, hey, we received your chat. Or if it's after hours, it'll say, we'll get back to you the next day. That's just because we go on like a do not disturb at night. But anytime during camp hours, and so during the year, that's anytime between 9 and 5, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., you can expect a response. If you don't get a response during that time, it's just because we couldn't get to you in the queue, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. During the camp season, you can expect responses between 7:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. As long as there's campers on campus, we're responding to messages. Once everyone goes home for the day, staff are done for the day. We don't require them to answer messages after campers are out of camp for the day. So you'll get a response back the next day. Kind of jumping around a little bit, but that was a lot of answer for one short question. Let's go back in the chat and see which folks are here. Let's take a look here for a sec. I'm going to come back. I'm just going to come back and see everybody. Hi, everybody. Let's take a look at the chat. I'm going to look over at my other screen. All right, let's see. Hi, Big J. Camp starts on the 26th, Valley Stream. Better understand about lunch food requirements, 4-year-old hot lunch. Will it be heated up, lunch bag or lunch box? Well, I answered some of those questions, Crystal. Great questions. Thanks so much for jumping on the chat there. So we talked about lunch. Bring lunch from home. I can talk about a little bit about hot lunch. So if you want to send in a lunch that's either warm or needs to be warmed, you can do that. You just have to provide detailed instructions. And when I talk about detailed instructions, the same type of instructions that you would give somebody who is babysitting at your house if you said, hey, heat up my child's lunch. Couple of things to note. We have the same type of microwave you have at home. We can prepare anything in the microwave as long as you give us microwave safe containers. So Tupperwares, Rubbermaids, that kind of stuff is fine. We have at camp if you need. There are utensils and napkins and stuff. We always have that on hand as extras, so if you forget them, don't worry. And the only thing is we can't test the food. So if you're sending in food and you need it warmed up, just make sure you've run that meal through your microwave with those instructions to make sure it's going to be good, because we can't test it. And we'll tell your camper to be careful. We'll take small bites. We'll try it out. But we can warm up lunch, especially for 4-year-olds. Tiny Tots are on campus all summer. There's only one day they travel. It's for Adventureland. And we'll talk about trips in a sec. So you can do that for sure. Just talk to your group leader. Like I said, give them the instructions in the morning. When you drop off in the morning, group leaders will be outside. They'll be holding a tablet. That is for them to take attendance. And then they're going to check in. They'll answer any questions you might have. For valet arrival, when you pull up in the car, they'll take the kids right from the car. If you want to park and walk in, you can. Each campus is a little bit different with their policies on that. You can learn that at Family Orientation, which is next weekend for all campuses except Farmingdale. Farmingdale had theirs last weekend. But if you want to come and visit camp and you need to check on stuff, you can always drop by and check it out at any time. Valley arrival at Farmingdale is pretty easy. It's just right through the back parking lot. But if you want to park, it's parking on the street mostly for most campuses, or in their main parking lot, and you can walk in. Group leaders will be there every day, though, like I said, and they'll be able to help you out. Lunch bag, please, Crystal. Lunch boxes, we cannot fit in the fridge, especially those big hard-sided ones, cooler, stuff like that. Totally not necessary. We put all of the lunches in Sterilite containers, like that's just the modern brand for Rubbermaid or whatever one you have, any kind of clear container you've ever seen. We container them, we put them in the fridge, we store them by specific group, and then we also separate any campers who have allergies, so you don't have to worry about that. There are no restrictions for lunch on what you can send into camp. We take all of the necessary precautions with our campers who have allergies, which that information has been provided on their health forms. Health and Wellness team, Joanne and Yamit, have been going through all those forms. Thank you to everyone who sent them in. For those of you who haven't, time's a wasting. But we can talk about that another time. You just got to get your forms in by your child's first day of camp. If there's anything special we need to know, please let us know. We take care of all that kind of stuff. So I hope that answered your question, Crystal. All right, Candace asked, I saw that there was a cafeteria. Is it still there? Well, yeah. Candace, yes, there's a cafeteria at every campus. I'm not sure which location you are at, but every campus has a lunchroom, cafeteria. Some of the schools that we use, we're using a separate space as a cafeteria, but there's always a designated space for lunch. So everyone eats indoors unless there's a special time that we're going to do a picnic, or we're going to have a special lunch outside. That may happen a couple times during the summer, could happen for certain groups at certain times, but there is a cafeteria at every campus and they eat indoors. Hey Meredith, we're excited too. Can't wait to see you. Jeanette, is there a way to confirm t-shirt size that was requested? Last 2 years we received the wrong size. That is not okay for me. So Jeanette, we select t-shirt size on our camper application. It's in your camp account. So if you need to confirm, just send us an email, shoot us a chat. You can email info@campsarrest.org. Just say, hey, just confirming t-shirt size. What happens when we distribute shirts out the first day, we're going to give you the size that's on your account. If you find that you have the wrong size, it doesn't fit for some reason, the kids grew since you put that size into their camper application, which I actually have to check that because one of my daughters is in a bigger size now. We're going to look at that. But we can always change it for you. We can always exchange them. As long as you didn't wear them or wash them, we can get you the right size. Jeanette, I'm going to not promise it, but I hope that they get the right size the first day. If not, we'll get it right for you by day 2. Just email us and we'll take care of it for you. Alrighty. Let's see. For Anjali, all right. Need to know about food. Child doesn't go for the trips. What options do you have? Okay. So, yep. Everybody starts Monday the 26th if you're signed up for week 1 of camp. By the way, if you're looking to add on week 1 and you're not currently registered, week 1 registration closes today. So by this afternoon, when we all leave the office here, week 1 registration will be completely closed out for the summer. Every week from there, we're going to close out the next successive week. So the end of next week, we're going to close out week 2. And so on. So if you need to add on dates, check that out. Check in your camp account. It will tell you what weeks you're registered for, and let us know. We can always add on weeks. At this point, there's no cancellations or changes, but we can add on if there's space available. But as far as Syosset with food, we talked about food a lot here, so hopefully you got all that info. It's all the same at every campus. As far as trips are all optional. So here's how trips work, and it's a great kind of segue into trips. I want to pull up one of the camp calendars. I'm actually going to show you. If you're on the screen, you're going to see how we access the calendars. Let's just go. We'll go with Syosset since it's a Syosset parent question. And so I want you to see this. Let's pull up my display here. Alrighty. So here's the Syosset campus. And I'm going to try and scroll up and down for you if I can. But we can kind of see what's going on just from the top section that you can see on your screen. So when it comes to trips, and all of the trips are optional, right? So even non-bonus trips, there's trips that are included. Every group gets 2 trips included. And then there's bonus trips. The bonus trips are added in for a couple of reasons. One, there are families and campers who like to go on lots of trips, and there are families and campers who don't. And for those who want to go on trips, we wanted to include as many as possible. But of course, we don't want to raise the price of camp by a few $100s for trips that folks won't go on. So you have the option to select any or all of these bonus trips, and you can you can see all of them appear on the camp calendar. So if we're looking at the Syosset calendar right now, because Anjali was asking about Syosset, you see regular trips, you see bonus trips. If you see the $sign, it's a bonus trip. That means you have to sign up for it in your camp account. Again, Camp in Touch on a computer, Campanion app on mobile device. And if you go on these trips, they are fantastic. You have a wonderful time. We always get premium packages with our trips. We get really great access from the venues. Most of our indoor venues will close down for us when we're there, which is pretty awesome, getting exclusive access to indoor venues. A couple of the outdoor venues also close for us, like Adventureland. The park is closed when Camp Sur Us is there. And then other ones like the New York Mets game, if you have a third grader or older, of course the stadium's not closed for us. That would be really cool. But no, we have our own section of the stadium that's just for us. And, we have it right by the restrooms and the concessions and the food and all the off-field activities. This year also, if you sign up for the Mets game, the campers will be on the field before the game during the national anthem with Mr. and Mrs. Met, and our camp mascot Shades will be there as well. So that is a really cool treat, and that is on Thursday, July 20th, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Also, if you're in the C2 program, you go on all of the bonus trips with your group, free of charge. So if you're assigned out to an age group, C2s just don't get assigned to 7-8s just because they're too close in age, but 3, 4s, and 5, 6s, that's usually where most C2s like to get assigned because those trips are amazing. But if you don't go on a trip, all of your regular activities remain in place. So if I can show you here, if I go back to campsurus.org and I just show you our activities, just to remind everybody, once it loads, there we go. These are all our activities that happen either daily or semi-daily. Semi-daily meaning a few times a week. So arcade, arts and crafts, court sports, dance, edible art, field sports, Gaga, game room, the gym, splash zone, STEAM, Wonderworks, and woodworking are all scheduled every day. They don't all happen every day, but they're scheduled for various groups every day. And so those activities are running whether or not you're on the trip. If you don't go on a field trip, your regular schedule remains in place and you just enjoy a regular day of activities. And they're always up and running. Our activity staff are there, and it's pretty awesome. So you have that in place. You do not have to feel compelled to go on trips. If you don't feel like trips, if you don't feel comfortable about your child attending trips, that's totally fine. That's why we make a lot of them optional with the bonus feature, but all of them are optional. The only one I'll tell you that is optional, but it's kind of not optional, is Adventureland. And the reason, and that's a picture down there on the field trip one here. If you see where my mouse is, I'm lighting it up. Field trips here. That is a picture. If you notice in that picture, by the way, that's a picture on the Frisbee ride, which is intense and amazing. That's a bunch of our campers and staff members. But if you look at the angle they're at, that is the East Farmingdale Water Tower that is sideways. So the ground is to the right of the children, and they are almost upside down at that point. It's pretty amazing. It doesn't go all the way upside down. It goes almost. So very cool. That's the only trip, the Adventureland trip, where if you don't go on the trip, that's a day you're going to have to stay home from camp. And the reason for that is because every single camper, staff member, administrative staff, everybody descends on Adventureland that day. We bring over 2,500 people to Adventureland. And so no one stays on campus. And to be honest with you, for the few kids who don't go to Adventureland on that day, it wouldn't be fun on campus anyway. There's just not enough kids that day. So that's important to note. You want to make sure that if you're not going to Adventureland, just stay home that day. Your directors will remind you of that. They'll let you know. They'll let you know what's happening with all that good stuff too. But I'll be honest with you, there are rides there for every age group. Parents are allowed to visit. You can pay your own admission and visit if you like. You just become part of the group. So you're not chaperoning. We don't allow parent chaperones basically because our staff are background checked and you're not. And so you can come as a visitor and you can just be part of the group and follow along with the staff and go on rides and all that stuff. You just pay your own admission. Make sure you get a parking spot before we get there because the buses take over the entire parking lot. It's a lot of buses. And that's basically it. But we can go into more detail about Adventureland on a podcast coming up before the trip happens on, I believe it's on July 25th. July 25th. It's a Tuesday for Adventureland. All right, moving on to some questions. We have a question about the Belmore campus. Okay, let's see. It's your first year. Gotcha. Okay. So we're getting asked a question about a child who suffers from separation anxiety and may be anxious around new people. And this is a fantastic question. Thank you so much for asking this. Um, it's it's important to know a couple of things. One, our staff receive training related to mental, emotional, and social health. And tomorrow at our big training, we call it Super Saturday, we're also going to have sessions from our mental health professional, Samantha, who's a licensed professional counselor. And she is going to be talking to staff specifically about anxiety, about some acute mental health, emotional health, social health issues that they're going to recognize at camp, and how to work with campers who are suffering from that. Homesickness at day camp is not as uncommon as you might think, and leaving the car can produce some anxiety, or going with people you don't know can produce some anxiety. So when we talk about arrival and dismissal, you can talk about the specific protocols with your campus at your family walkthrough. And I can pull up the family walkthrough information here, so if you haven't seen it. And again, all of this is shared in the email you're going to get Monday. So you're going to get all this stuff. We call it family orientation, but it's a walkthrough of camp. And so for your campus in Belmore, you're going to have walkthrough and orientation Saturday, June 24th, starting at 5 p.m. This is during camp setup. So what happens is, kind of to get a peek behind the window, or a peek behind the curtain, as they say, camp gets set up by all of our staff usually the weekend before camp opens. By Saturday in Belmore, you're going to have camp probably about halfway set up. And you'll start to see what camp looks and feels like when you arrive for orientation. And Nikki and her staff are going to walk you through, show you all the spaces that are currently being set up and built, talk to you about arrival, dismissal. They're going to give you a whole introduction to all the things you need to know about where to drop off, where to pick up. You'll even meet most of the staff that day. And so it's pretty great. You can bring the kids, and it's a nice informal way to get introduced to the camp experience before it actually happens. But on the first day of camp, you're going to pull up with the car. You're going to talk with the staff. They're going to help. If you want to do a drop-off where you're not valeting, where you're not pulling straight up to the drop-off area, you can certainly park the car and walk in. If that helps you, that's totally fine. You just let them know what you want to do, and it's all good. But they can help you with that whole thing. Alrighty, going down some other questions. We got a lot of comments. I appreciate it. We're going to try and rapid fire some questions before we move on to another topic. Question about ratio of counselors to campers for kinder camp. Is there a match of boys, girls, counselors to campers? Yeah, so we do co-ed groups. The ratio of camper to counselor in kinder camp is about 5 or 6 to 1, depending on the group, depending on the campus. That ratio remains intact and actually lowers in a couple of spaces. When you go to activities, that ratio will go down. And then, because we have an activity staff member running the activity, it'll also go down on field trips when we bring activity staff off campus with us for certain field trips. So the group maxes out at 20 campers total. There are very few campuses that have maxed out in most weeks of camp, but there's a couple that are close, but it maxes out at 20. You'll have a group leader, you'll have a counselor or two and a junior counselor, and your ratio will be about a 5 or 6 to 1 in activity. As far as matching up boys, girls, we do co-ed groups. Some activities will, separate the genders naturally, for certain athletic activities or certain gaming activities and stuff like that. That just happens. That's just preference. But it's nothing that's designed. So you'll see that generally with older campers, they might have separation like that, but everybody's co-ed at Camp Suros in grouping. All right, Crystal, great question about sneakers getting wet during water activities. I think I forgot to mention, you can send in water shoes as long as they cover your child's whole foot. So what I suggest for water activities is one of two things. If you have water shoes, even the kind that slide on, they cover your whole foot, bring those for water activities. If you don't, an old pair of sneakers works just as well. But you have to have footwear. When you do water activities, we're doing water activities on the grass, on the blacktop. We're running around a lot. A lot of our water activities are very active. They have to have foot protection. No one goes barefoot at camp. So that's a great question. All right. Let's pop up a couple more questions that were in the chat. Let's see. Oh, I skipped ahead. Wow, so many great questions. Thank you all so much for this. Where'd they go? Kind of out of order here. All right. Let's see. Okay, so there we go. All right, so we have some more questions coming in. Can we send food in small containers that keep food warm? Yes, you can. That is totally fine. You can, put them in like a Rubbermaid or a Tupperware or something like that inside the lunch bag, and then we'll warm them up. They're going to come home. We're not going to clean them at camp, so just make sure you clean them when they get home. Label them, please. Containers tend to get lost when they're not labeled. Hey, Candace, Farmingdale campus, love it. Crystal asks, what about snack time? Do we provide snacks? And if they need to eat in the morning, do they need to eat breakfast at home, or can they eat at camp if breakfast is provided? Okay, these are great questions. So Camps R Us provides a daily snack. Daily snack is usually right around 3:55, 4 o'clock when last period starts. We do dry snacks, individually packaged, chips, cookies, that kind of stuff. And then we also have ice cream that we've added this year. We're all very excited for an ice cream program. You can all thank my wife Cheryl for that. It was her idea, and she really championed it and said we got to do ice cream at camp, and I am not one to disagree with her. So, and especially because I love ice cream. So we're going to do that every single day. They get a snack. So they get unlimited drinks, they get a snack. As far as snack time, if they're hungry in the morning, if you have a child who generally eats a snack in the morning too, send an extra snack in. That's totally fine. We provide the one every day. You can send in an extra. We can keep snacks stored at camp too. If you have a younger camper, send in a little package or whatever, put in their backpack, whatever makes sense, and they can stop and have a snack. We have staff who snack throughout the day too if they're hungry. If they're hungry before lunchtime. As far as breakfast goes, we don't provide breakfast, but if you come for extended hours, anytime between 7:30 and 8:40 a.m. is considered an extended hours early drop-off. You can bring breakfast and eat, wherever extended hours is being held that day. Generally, extended hours is in the game room or Wonderworks or the arcade. We just have them sit off to the side with a table, finish up their breakfast, clean up, and then they can jump into activities during extended. So that's pretty easy. Tesla, yes, it's only lunch and then snack at 3:55. By the way, if you're a tiny tot and you're doing half day or mini day, you'll get your snack to take home. So they always get a snack too. And half day campers and tiny tots, they do not eat lunch at camp. Lunch for tiny tots is right around 12:05. That's right after half day kids depart for the day. So this way they get 3 activity periods, and then they're off for the day. Melina, do they wear shirts every day? No, camp shirts are only days you travel off campus. So when you go off campus, I'm going to go back over here to the camp calendar. You're going off campus on days where you see the road signs that indicate field trips, TTKK 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then any day we go swimming. That's the little blue swimming icon. That's going to be off campus days. Those are days you wear your t-shirt. I also recommend a t-shirt on picture day. Picture day is when our professional photographer comes in and takes photos of the kids. It's always nice to be in your camp shirt that day. You get some nice shots, and everything's digital. It's uploaded right into your Campanion account. So that's pretty cool. So shirts only on those days. I mean, of course, you can wear your shirt on other days, but if you don't want to do so much laundry, I would say just on days we leave the campus and picture day. Melina, so that's a follow-up for you. And thank you, Kimberly, for jumping in. You can wear your shirt whenever you want, but definitely for off-campus trips. Yeah, you got to wear your shirt on off-campus days. Now, here's the thing. If your child shows up without a shirt, we're going to give them one at camp, but you're automatically going to get charged $10. Now, that's going to work while supplies last. Once we run out of shirts, we're going to start making calls home and say, you need to bring a shirt up or have a shirt brought up to camp, or they can't go on the trip. This is for safety and security. We identify our campers with our shirts. They are double-sided print, so the front says, this is my summer camp t-shirt in a nice little script with our blue and orange logo, and then the back has the name Camps R Us. We also send campers off campus with a colored wristband. In addition to their swimmer band, orange or blue swimmer band, they're also going to get a colored wristband for when multiple campuses travel together. So you got to wear your shirt. Jeanette, question about medication. This is a great question. So We can assist with giving Tylenol if a camper has a headache. But for any medication, and this is important, any medication, whether it's prescription or over the counter, we need a note from the doctor and we need our medication form filled out. This is for any medication that we would have to provide at camp. It needs to be sent into camp in its original packaging from the pharmacy. If it's prescription, it has to have the pharmacy label on it. It needs to be unopened, so it's got to be brand new in the box. You have to get a new bottle of Tylenol if you're going to send in the liquid. If it's going to be the caplets or capsules, got to be a new bottle. We'll keep that stored at camp, labeled properly. It's inventoried. It's checked regularly by our health designee. That's your associate director. And we can provide that. We're going to get permission from you each time. So if a child has a headache and you indicate that Tylenol works for a headache, you're still going to get a phone call to approve it every time. We also have the ability to liaise with our health and wellness director, Yamit, Dr. Yamit, and our director emeritus, Joanne. So they can also help us to get information about over-the-counter meds and all that kind of stuff. We also have the ability to talk with the doctors, nurses, and PAs over at Northwell Health or Go Health Urgent Care. Our partnership with them is pretty awesome. You'll get information about that too in your welcome email for making urgent care appointments or follow-ups from camp. If you have an ill child or there's an injury or anything like that, they can follow up with you in real time. We can get on the phone with them at a moment's notice. And we can conference you in as well, telehealth, all that cool stuff. And then you could follow one of their centers. So we do a lot for health and wellness. We do need a note from the doctor. Kimberly, need another swim test date. Is anything being scheduled? I hear you. And for all the parents asking about swim tests, we're doing our best, I promise. My colleague Tracy, our director of operations, has been working really hard to get those dates set up. But as I'm sure you can all guess, getting appointments at these pools and with the WSIs who are in short supply, let me tell you, it's very hard. If you weren't able to get into a test date and you're still looking to get tested, check two things. All right, and let's go through this for a second on the screen. I want to show you the swim testing page. It's important for you to see how we interpret this. So here's the thing. Everyone in first grade or up is eligible for a swim test. But you need to determine if your child needs it, because I need to explain this. And I'm going to come off the screen a second so I can kind of show you how this less than chest deep and less than chin deep thing works. All right, way back when, a long time ago, when these parameters were being set up in this guidance from the Department of Health. The Department of Health, by the way, is a really fantastic organization that helps us to be licensed properly for camp. And in New York State, regulated camps, like we are, Camp Source is a highly regulated camp, follow Department of Health guidelines to the letter. And in fact, most often go beyond their requirements because for health and safety, there's no compromise for us. So it's important for you to know that these policies are derived from Department of Health guidelines. These are the Department of Health guidelines that we actually, a number of camp professionals, helped to write. They put together a group to help write these policies based on what was appropriate for camp and what made sense for camp, especially camps like us that don't have pool facilities on site, which is different than other camps that have pools where they operate camp and don't leave their campus as often as we do. So because we're going to public pools, because there are lifeguards already there, and because we're providing what are called pool activity leaders, these are basically folks with a lifeguard certification, but a pool activity leader does not take the swimming requirements for lifeguards. They learn all of the management and safety and risk management and all that stuff, all that part of the lifeguarding course, but they don't have to swim because we're not doing any life saving if it comes to that. The lifeguards at the pool are. We're working with them to make sure we're supervising properly. We're providing additional supervision with pool activity leaders so that we have a proper ratio of supervision to campers. And we also have staff in the water with kids. So let's talk about this because it's really important to understand exactly what's going on. So I'm going to answer your question, Kimberly, but I want to talk about swim testing to make sure you and every other parent knows if your child needs it. Number one, for most kids younger than third grade, the swim test does not make a lot of sense because they still won't be tall enough in the main pool to go less than chin deep. So this is the thing with our swimming test. Our swimming test does not actually, we don't care, and I don't want to say we don't care, but it doesn't matter if your child can or cannot swim. They're always going to be in water they can stand up in. That's a policy straight across the board. They're never in water above chin deep. And I'm going to switch over the screen here for a sec so you can understand what I'm talking about. Let's turn off the display for a second. So here I am. You can see my microphone here. I'm going to move it out of the way for a sec, right here. So my voice might get a little bit lower in the monitor there. Less than chest deep is here. So if you see that my Spec Ops logo, I'm in my special Spec Ops t-shirt today, is here, is less than chest deep. Where you put your hand for the Pledge of Allegiance, like the middle of your hand right there, okay? That's less than chest deep. That's non-swimmers. Whether they can swim or not, if you're not tested, you're a non-swimmer at camp. We assume you can't swim. That's including all of our staff too. We've had like high school champion swimmers who are non-swimmers at camp because we don't test them. That's less than chest deep. If they pass the swim test, they can go into water that's less than chin deep. That's it. That's the difference. Now on a child, that's a big difference for some kids. On a grown-up, not so much. But now that I'm back on the mic a little bit more, we want to talk about this. Here's the display back. So less than chest deep is the default. If your child is not tall enough to get into less than chest deep water, but they will be tall enough to get into less than chin deep water in the main pool. This is mostly for kids who want to get in the main pool who are a little bit shorter than average or shorter than the pool height requirement. If they want to get in the pool, they might want to go to less than chin deep. For most first and second graders, they're not going to be tall enough, especially when you look at some of these pools that average out about 4 feet deep in their big pools. You have to be less than chin deep. Less than chin deep, you have to be about 6 to 8 inches taller for a child, not an adult. Adults have bigger heads, apparently. I think so. But you have to be 6 to 8 inches taller than the pool water level to be less than chin deep. So that means a first or a second grader needs to be at like Baldwin, East Rockaway, Valley Stream, 54 to 56 inches tall. That's like 4'6" to 4'8". That's pretty tall for that age. At other campuses, they have a lower average pool height. These are the pool water levels in the main pool, or as the kids call it, the big pool. This is not the starting height. The starting height at the edge of the pool is a little bit lower. But we have to use the average water level to test kids because that's where they're going to be mainly in the pool. So check your child's height. If they're not going to be tall enough at less than chin deep anyway, there's no need to test. There's no need because they won't be tall enough to get in that pool anyway. They're going to have to go into the instructional pool, which goes to about 2 feet deep. And yes, I know there's some kids who are like, I know how to swim. What's going on? This whole thing. This is the requirements for a camp like Camps R Us, and it's what we have to offer. We're a recreational swim program, and so we have to work within the boundaries of the pools, the Department of Health, and all that stuff. So if you just do some quick math, take your child's height, subtract the pool water level, you can determine if they need to be swim tested in order to go in the big pool. So we recommend swim testing for kids who are less than 10 inches taller than the pool water level. If they're less than 6 inches taller than the pool water level, testing does not give them access to the big pool, right? So I use the example, and this example is my daughter Layla, 10-year-old fourth grader, St. James campus. She's 55 inches tall. She might be 56 now. Does not need to be swim tested because she hits the less than chest deep requirement. But that's a fourth grader, right? Most kids younger than that are not that tall. So you got to really check that out and make sure it's required first. Now, if you determine that it is required, here's what I'm going to tell you. If you haven't gotten into a swim test, we have one more coming up on June 22nd. We'll squeeze you in if we can. I can't guarantee it. I can't say it's going to happen. But if you show up that day, try. We're not going to be able to get another one at Farmingdale. The facility is just completely booked. They're very, very busy with end of season stuff and switching over for summer and that kind of thing with the school year ending. The Farmingdale facility is part of the Farmingdale School District. It's at Howitt Middle School. It's going to be almost impossible for us to get another date there. For next year, we're going to try and get more dates in advance of May and June for swim testing, but it's going to be Freeport Rec for now. So I apologize for any inconvenience with the swim testing. I can tell you that if you have a child who's tall enough, you don't have to worry about it. For kids on the borderline, I know it's troublesome. I know you're stressing out about it. We're doing our best, I promise. And Tracy, who coordinates that, really was on top of our swim testers, our WSIs. Now, if you want to try and get an independent swim test, it's available. The problem is most private or public instructors like Safety Swim or Goldfish, they're not actually using lifeguards to teach kids how to swim. They're just using swim instructors who take a course through their organization. You need to have someone with a specific certificate to sign off that your child is considered a swimmer. So you need to go through the accepted courses list. This is directly from New York State's website. And the provider certification must be on that list, and they have to provide a copy for us. So again, looking at our testing stuff, I know it says Thursday, June 22nd is full. You can try to come and try to fit in there. Testing fee reminder is $10. It's billed to your camp account. This is to pay the facility and to pay the tester. These guys don't work for free, unfortunately, but we want you to have the opportunity to do this, so we try to keep it nominal. And the swim test itself is really simple. Wow, that's all number ones though. I don't know why that says that. I gotta change that. That's about enough on swimming for now. But if anyone has any more questions about swimming, call us, email us, send us a chat. Meredith question next is, what time is Explore until? Off the top of my head, I don't know, and I don't have that sheet in front of me, but just shoot me an email or a chat and we can look for you. Generally, most of the trips run middle of the day. Kids get back between 3 and 4 p.m. Generally. It could be a little different for Explore, but you can just send me a chat or an email. We can check that out for you. And Jolly, you're welcome. Diana, yes, C2 is different from, hey, how are you? C2 is different from JC. So a C2 is a current 9th grader, and they are learning how to become a staff member. A JC is a junior counselor, and they are a staff member doing an internship and getting paid for it. So it's a completely different thing. Now, it's important to know, because you're talking about Billy, he's a junior counselor. So junior counselors are assigned to age groups. They haven't all been assigned yet. So if you have a child who's a staff member, they haven't all been completely assigned to groups. So once they are, they're going to be just like a counselor and group leader assigned to that group. They take all those kids through their activities, follow their schedule. They're developing the relationships with those campers. And junior counselors are our first year frontline staff. It's only a 1-year internship, their 10th grade year. Or if they're 15, so some 9th graders are 15, and then they become full-fledged counselors after a successful year. So I hope that answers that question. I miss you guys. I know that family very well. And Billy, who has come up through the ranks as a camper and now being a JC, is like the ultimate for me. I get so excited and happy. I saw him at training the other day. It was like, oh my goodness. First of all, look how big he got. Like he's very tall, and he looks like a full-grown person now. And I knew him since he's just a little guy. So it's very cool seeing all that happen. So hope everyone's good. Say hi to Michael. Tell him I miss those guys too. All right, Tesla. Some trips during pizza day, will you get charged for pizza if she's away on a trip? No, we do not charge you if you're away on a trip. And if you do get charged by mistake, because we do this stuff by hand, just let us know. Here's the thing. If you see an errant charge, or you see something that you don't understand, or you see something that's like, hey, that doesn't make sense, just ask. Just ask, because we're a big family here. We're a lot of people working really hard, but sometimes things slip. Sometimes a keystroke makes a mistake. Sometimes the computer doesn't tell us that we're adding in a charge that shouldn't be added in. It's going to be important for you to just let us know, hey, this is a mistake. Can we fix it? Yeah, of course we can. We don't want mistakes on your account. We want to make sure things are done correctly. I think it's Nydia. I hope I said Nydia right. Can't access the Camp Mobile account. Okay, Campanion is the same login information as the Camp in Touch account. So if you can get into your Camp account on your computer, you should be able to get the mobile account. On the website, there is a mobile link on every page. It's at the bottom when you scroll down. I'll pop back onto the screen so you can see it. So you can get it on the App Store or Google Play. I don't think there's any other device that it wouldn't work on. But if you click on the App Store link or the Google Play link, you get the Campanion app. It is free for all currently enrolled families. Everything in the app will last until April 1st of next year. So all your photos and stuff. It's really important that you get the app on your device, get a training photo in there for your child or children. because then you'll get your photo stream and it'll be amazing. Photos just pop up and you get notifications every time that we found photos of your child. And like, I even get them during the day, and it's so cool to see my kids playing and having a great time. It just makes me feel wonderful. Gives me a lot of peace of mind. I already have peace of mind because I know all the staff and I get to train all the staff. So I feel great already. But for you folks who haven't met them yet, it's great to see your kids throughout the day on Campanion. We'll also do things like micro posts. A lot of you have seen that already. I'll show you what Campanion looks like here. This is my admin side, but you can see what micro posts look like. This is me promoting myself for Q&A. We have a new texting feature. If you haven't seen it, opt in for text messages in your camp account. This way we can text you with emergency information, situational changes for trips, schedule stuff, inclement weather stuff. As you know, or as you will know, because I'm going to tell you in about 2 seconds, we don't close for weather unless it's an emergency and it's declared an emergency in our area. But we can get you a lot quicker on text message because the notifications come through. We talked about bonus trips. We have the parent walkthroughs. Note the new date for Valley Stream. You see all these things as I'm scrolling on the screen. So we put up these micro posts. These are just short snippets. It's the length of a tweet, a little photo, and maybe a link to show you where to go. It's pretty cool. And Campanion is really a great tool to have. We're very happy that we've added it as a feature for our families. It's something that every camp doesn't do. It's something special, and we really like to use it. Last year, we put up a little over 18,000 photos up in Campanion last year, which is an amazing number when you think about it. We have a lofty goal this year. We're trying to get somewhere between 30 and 50,000 photos up this year. And I'm going to try and help contribute to that too when I'm on campus, because I like to snap a lot of photos and get them posted up there. Okay, some more questions coming down, and these are great. So far, we've gotten 83 questions. So a lot of them, if you're asking a similar question to someone else, I might skip you. But I'll still like your comments so you know that I saw it. Are parents allowed to come to Adventureland? Amber, yes. And you said here your son's a runner. Don't worry, okay? Staff are actively supervising all the time. We can see everybody, hear everybody, and be heard. So that's a pretty close proximity. And our staff also facilitate every activity. We don't supervise from a distance. We supervise and play in. And campers are going to learn our expectations, and campers are going to learn what outcomes we want for them. And they're going to really feel a sense of responsibility to do that kind of stuff. When it comes to trips, we don't really have a tolerance for kids who leave the group or run away or do that kind of stuff. And you'll know about that because we'll call you from the trip venue if there's a problem. But if you want to come and visit, parents are allowed to visit at Adventureland. You have to pay for your own admission for the day. You'll get the discounted rate that camp gets for the admission. You have to drive in your own vehicle, and you'll have to park a little bit away from the main parking lot. There's a secondary parking lot you can use because our buses take up the entire parking lot. And you can certainly visit. You got to talk to your camp director about that. You have to schedule it with them. They're going to have to meet you at the specific time they arrive at the gate, and you become part of the group. So you're going to stay with your group, with your child, and you can participate and do everything the campers do from a camper's perspective. That's how parents visit on trips. And Jolly, you're welcome again. What day is Adventureland? It is Tuesday, July 25th. There's no extra fee, Lindsay. For Adventureland, it's an included trip for every age group. It is the most amazing experience for our campers, for our camp community, taking over Adventureland and being allowed to do that, by the way. The Gentili family really takes care of us. They are a fantastic family. And Adventureland is a family-owned and operated business, multi-generational business. They are fantastic. As many of you know, we also run a discount program with them with their season pass program. We just love partnering with them and love spending time there over the summer. So, please know that that's a fantastic day. We also do a great event with them in the fall, and we do give away some tickets to that to families as a raffle, as a bonus during early enrollment. So look out for that in September as well. It's a great event. Meredith, yeah, you can visit. So here's the thing with visiting, folks. You can visit camp any day you like, on or off campus. You just have to schedule it, and you have to learn and be oriented to what you can expect. So when it comes to trips, most of the trips are pretty amenable to visiting. But remember, you become a camper when you're there. You also have to understand you got to pay admission. So like if you come to visit at the Mets game, you have to buy your own ticket. If we have extras, we can sell them at a discounted rate to you, or just charge a camp account for that. And you have to provide transportation, and anything that's included for campers, you would have to pay extra. So like, food's included. Most of the bonus trips include food, that kind of stuff. So it gets a little, logistically, you got to make sure you're set up for the day, and you have to schedule it with your camp director. Now, if we get too many requests for visits on any given day, we may shut it down. So it is a first come, first serve basis. If it's ever a rainy day, visiting's canceled automatically. We won't notify you generally. So if it's raining on a particular day and you were trying to visit the campus, you can't. Just because when we move to an indoor program, our schedule modifies. The way campers move about the campus modifies. We go on an alternating travel, through campus because we don't want to crowd hallways, and it just kind of gets a little sticky for parents to be visiting on days like that. All right, more questions to come, and thanks so much for doing this. I know these were in for a while. We're going to get to all of them. Kyle, you're off the week of July 24th, but you're keeping your child out of camp that week. Can you take her to Adventureland with you so she doesn't miss out? So if she's not scheduled for camp that day, we can't have you go on a trip. You have to be registered for camp that day. And that's important for a lot of reasons. One, for our grouping and rostering. Our rosters and our attendance and everything is based on enrollment. So if you're not registered for a particular day of camp and you show up to camp, the group leader is going to stop you at the door and say, hey, I'm sorry, you're not registered for today. Getting you registered for that day on the spot is difficult because it has to go through our main office. That's a phone call at least, an email maybe, and making sure you can get through because we have, a bunch of office staff here, but we also have thousands of campers every day. So you want to make sure you're registered for the day for a trip. If you're registered for that day or you want to add that day on as a one-off because you're off that week, you can do that. Daily add-ons are at the prevailing rate of your enrollment. So if you add on a day and you're registered for 3 or 4 weeks, whatever the daily rate for your 3 or 4 weeks, that's what you're going to pay for the day. And then whatever bonus trip extras and stuff will go on top of that. So you can email us about that, Kyle. It's probably a better email question. It's a great question. Thank you. Kimberly, I'm glad you know now. Yes, Crystal, children, families it's a family orientation. Families, everybody. So bring whomever, bring the kids, bring grandma, grandpa if they're going to be doing drop off and pickup. We want everyone to feel comfortable about the camp experience before it starts. So you're all welcome to come. The staff are there to welcome you. You're going to see camp set up. It's kind of like an open house, but they won't have all the bells and whistles with the paperwork and handouts and stuff. They'll give you links to the parent guide if you don't have it, which I'm going to share on Monday, and I'll talk about those documents before we end today. So we'll go over all that stuff with you, so don't worry about that. If you missed the family orientation at Farmingdale, just email us, Candace. They will be up there for setup again. If you want to come visit tomorrow, we have training, and you're going to see the staff for all 10 campuses. You're welcome to come up and visit during training. Someone from the desk will help you and talk to you and can show you around, and you can experience what training looks and feels like. It's like nothing else you've ever seen, I can tell you. Mary Beth, welcome to Camp Sarah, starting Willie P for the first time week 2. If you want to visit the camp after camp starts, if you're starting later in the summer and you want to come visit before you start, just call up the campus. Campus phone numbers are available during the camp season, so they will open up and be ready after midnight the Sunday before camp. So June 25th, once the clock strikes 12 on June 26th, the camp phones will be working. Before then, it's the main office, and they'll all be forwarded to us. So you want to check in with your camp director. That your camp phone number can also receive texts. So know that you can also text your camp director and just ask if you want to come up for a visit. They'll schedule a time that makes sense, and certainly you can. By the way, if I miss anyone's questions, I'm sorry. There's a lot coming in. But if you don't get your question answered here, wow, there are a lot that just came in. The best way to get us is chat or email, and I'll get your questions answered. I can even hop on the phone with you. This time of year, the phones are a little tight, but we'll try our best. Next week, you can always call us. You'll definitely know what you need to know. We'll get you all the information you need. All right, George, extended hours only on certain days. Yeah, this is great. Extended hours are on demand. So we've had this since we've opened, which is fantastic. If you look at camp hours, regular hours, 9 to 5. But you can drop off starting at 8:40. Pickup goes till 10 after 5. Most kids are picked up between 4 and 5. And that's during last activity, last period. Extended hours are 7:30 to 6, and they're on demand every day. So here's how it works. You can show up at 7:30 or any time before 8:40, and you'll be in the extended hours window. It's the same drop-off, valet drop-off. It's the same. Let me pull up the screen so you can actually read along as we go if you're viewing on video. So there's our camp hours page. It's under Future Families, Explore Camp hours, right there. I don't think it's under. Yeah, it's not under current. It's under Future. So camp hours. Extended hours every day. So you show up in the morning, we're there, staff are there, kids are engaged in an activity. It's always an indoor low-level activity for extended hours in general. And then you can do this on a regular basis. You can do it as needed. You don't need to call ahead. You don't need to register. We just bill your account for the extended hours fees as you use it. Drop off in the morning, early arrival, $9.50 per camper. And then late dismissal, it's going to be $7 per camper for anything after 5:10 up till 6 p.m. Just note that late dismissal is not available the last day of camp. We're going to remind you all of this. Believe me, if you're registered for the 8th week of camp, the last week, regular dismissal the last day is 4 p.m. It's an hour early. That is to allow our staff to clean up because we clean and pack the campus and we close camp that day. So we like to get them out of there a little bit early. There's one other day during the summer that we're going to cancel extended hours in the afternoon. That's going to be the day we hold our staff party. That date is to be determined, but you'll know well in advance so you can make alternate arrangements. We do that so they have time to get home, get changed, and get ready for their staff party. It's a big staff appreciation party we do every year for the entire staff, and it's phenomenal, but they do need the time after camp to get there. So no extended on that day. We'll let you know about that. And then also on this page, you can see the Tiny Tots hours, just to remind you what a half, mini, and full day are. So that's camp hours, extended hours. Melina, you're welcome. So if you're having trouble accessing Campanion, right, and you can't log in, just send us an email, and we'll help you out with that. You can also click on any of the help buttons that will take you to our support team over at CampMinder. That is our technology partner, and they will be able to help you as well if we can't. Kimberly, I love that you're answering questions. You're my hero right now. Thank you for answering that question, and I appreciate that. And she's exactly right. If you're looking in the comments, yeah, you just show up and we take care of it from there. It's pretty cool. Bo, they go swimming once a week outside the camp. Your kindergartner doesn't really swim. Can he not go that day? I mean, yeah, you can not register for that day of camp. Everybody who's on campus, though, who's eligible for swimming, which is kindergarten and up, travels to the pool venue. Everyone doesn't go in the water. There are always kids who sit out, kids who don't feel like going in, kids who might be a little cold, kids who want to do something else. You know, we always bring a couple little games or some cards or some Uno or something like that for the folks who don't feel like swimming. We sometimes get a lot of the teenagers who don't want to go in the water for whatever reason. It's totally fine. You don't need to know how to swim to go in the water at Camps R Us. Everyone's in less than chest deep water. Everyone is supervised with counselors in the water with them, group leaders, pool activity leaders on the deck. Our aquatics director, who's also your program director, is there at every swim activity and supervising. And it's a very safe, structured environment when we go to the pool. We get our own sections of the pool, both in and out of the water. We are monitoring campers. We're doing buddy checks every 15 minutes by name at the side of the pool. And for kindergartners, they're going to be in the instructional pool. They're mostly going to be in the spray park, which is only ankle deep or maybe mid-shin deep water. It's really cool. It's a really nice environment. It's very safe. And certainly if you know the pool venue, if you want to comment here what your campus is, I can talk to you about that pool venue in particular, or we can just email later or chat later. Laura, how do you buy a camp shirt? You just ask on campus and you'll be able to buy a camp t-shirt. We might put an order form out for pre-orders if we get close on inventory, but you just ask them on campus. We usually deliver it out the next day to the campus. Our special ops team is traveling to campuses every single day, so we can get you a shirt on campus. Carolyn, how early can you pick up the kids? You can pick them up as early as you want. Early dismissal is fine as long as you call us in advance. If you show up at camp and surprise us, be prepared to wait a little while. Campers engaged in activities don't often want to stop and leave, and we might have to finish an activity, clean them up, get their gear, and get them out to you. So if you're going to need to be, showing up early, you need to get them somewhere quickly, call ahead, give us at least an hour to get them, to know where they're going to be, to make sure whatever activity they're in, we can get them out, safely and also without much fuss, and offer some transition, and then they'll be brought out to you for dismissal. You just let us know. Early dismissal's fine. Kimberly, thank you again for answering these. I'm going to give you not only a like, I'm going to give you the heart emoji there for that one. Thank you. Okay, swim test. Kimberly. So, swim test. Here's the thing. We do have swim tests on file from last year, but that wonderful organization, the Department of Health, requires a new swim test in the calendar year of camp. And that's their policy. And we can't change that. So you need to have a swim test in the calendar year. If you want me to check your daughter's height against the heights of the pools, just shoot me a chat after the podcast, because we are running a little bit long. And thank you everyone who's on here. We've had up and down, somewhere around 100 viewers at certain points. So thank you for that. We want to get all this information out to you. I wanted to jump on today in advance of the welcome email, because I know a lot of folks are really concerned about information about camp and what it means for you and your family, especially if you're new to this experience or if you've only been with us a year or two. It's important to know this stuff. I promise we're going to share all this out in your welcome email with links. Everything's on the website now, so you can have all that stuff. But I can talk to you privately about her height. Carolyn, yes, if you had the swim test, results get automatically reported to Tracy, our director of operations. She takes care of it. You don't have to worry. And Jolly, you just buy it on campus. You can also order a camp shirt. So I want to clarify, because Kimberly did answer the question here for us too. The shirts you order through our shirt vendor, which is Creative Alternatives, those are really just for fun. They're not official off-campus shirts. So I want to clarify this. The 2 shirts you get at the beginning of the summer, that's your official Camps R Us t-shirt. Everything else on Creative Alternatives, which I'll pull up so you can see it. Let me put it up on the screen. And for those of you who aren't watching live, you'll see this on the video recording, or you'll see it when I send out another reminder, because the folks who make the shirts like us to remind you to buy stuff. We're not doing this to sell product. We're doing this for spirit and for fun. We have all kinds of apparel on here. The tie-dye is super popular, but these are not official Camps R Us shirts for trips. This is for fun. I can tell you it's good quality stuff. The kids have some of this. Some of us adults have this stuff. Oh, look, he actually modified one of our logos, the rhinestone thing. I haven't seen that one. Very cool. So you have all this stuff available to you, and you can buy it online. It'll be shipped out and delivered. I think it takes 20 days to get it. So if you order it now, it's not going to come till mid-July. But it's cool stuff. It's good quality. We like it, and it's for fun. But it's not official camp apparel. Official camp apparel is handed out, and if you want to order official camp shirts in addition to that, to have, just ask on campus. If we put out an order form, of course, we'll let you know. If there's a big demand, we'll probably do an order form online. Okay, keeping going through questions here. Amber. So Tiny Tots don't actually travel to the swimming pool. They stay on campus. We don't bring Tiny Tots to the pool because most of them don't know how to swim, but even if they did, that age group would not go in any kind of water that was approved for swimming anyway. They'd be in kind of puddle depth pool. And it doesn't seem like a whole lot of fun for them. So we do water activities on campus every day. They have their own splash zones called Mini Splash. They do it every day, first period. So they bring their bathing suit to camp. They get nice and cooled off and have a great time in the water. And then they change out for the day. So Tiny Tots do not travel off-site for swimming. Lydia, the height requirements are up on the website. It's campsrus.org. And then you're going to click on optional swim testing. I'll pull it up on the screen for everyone to see because we're talking about it. So if we go into swim testing, this actually lives in our blog. We have a blog, so there's different categories and stuff, but you can always find it there. I think it's pinned in the blog. But the height requirements are here. Basically, you want to be, if you're less than chest deep, you want to be 6 to 8 inches taller than the average pool depth. And if you want to be less than chest deep, it's 10 to 12. So chin deep, 6 to 8 inches taller than these heights. And then chest deep is 10 to 12 taller than these heights, so you don't need the swim test. Now, again, these are the average heights of the water And Williston Park's going to change. We actually had an update with their pool, which I'll talk about with Williston Park families, but not on the podcast today. It's only going to go up to 42. Williston Park's actually going to go swimming at the same place that Hicksville and Syosset goes this summer, because they closed the pool we normally go to. So the heights are important to know if you need swim testing, but the starting heights are lower, so some kids who are not quite that tall will still be able to get in, and we'll test them at the water. So if they're close, you'll probably be okay. It's a few inches shallower, closer to the walls. Let's get back to some more questions here. So let's see. Answered that one. You got it, Diana. Is there lunch for Adventureland? There's optional lunch for Adventureland. You can buy lunch that day or bring it. If you buy lunch, I think it's either chicken nuggets, hot dog, or hamburger. I don't know if they offer the pizza. Everything comes with fries. I don't know what that noise was. So you can order that. We're going to put the order form out probably when camp starts, because we have 5 weeks to get the Adventureland order in. And then you can also bring money for souvenirs, additional concessions, snacks, ice cream, stuff like that. Just note, with Adventureland, you can't send in your reusable drink container or popcorn bucket if you're a season pass holder or someone who gets that stuff for Adventureland. And if you do, you know what I'm talking about. It's their refillable water contain, like the drink container with the straw, and that refillable popcorn. It's not. I believe it's not in effect for the day we go with camp. It's not, so like all that stuff doesn't count. So you got to purchase beverages individually. More questions coming in. Yep. Thanks, Tracy. Oh, I didn't even know Tracy was on. Thanks, Trace. Yeah, optional lunch at Adventureland. Early drop-off for Bharat, that is $9.50 in the morning per child, $7 in the afternoon. Just so everyone knows, I want to be completely transparent about this, because the fees for extended hours, they're important to know why that we charge money for this. The primary reason is to offer the convenience of extended hours for families who need it. You need to get to work early, you need to pick up late. We don't want you stressing out about that. It's why we don't offer busing, because busing for our families, most of them, picking you up at 9 a.m. and dropping you off at 4:30 p.m. doesn't make sense for most of our families. You're not home. So that's why we do drop off. That's why we have so many campuses, so we can be in the neighborhoods that need us. And that's why we've expanded over the years to try and be more accessible to more families. But it's also so that we can pay the staff who are there. Summer camp staff work really hard. Extended hours for them is an opportunity to earn overtime, and the fees you're paying are helping to pay them that overtime and help them to put a little bit more salary and pay in their pockets. These young folks who come and work with us work incredibly hard. They're incredibly dedicated. And we offer that opportunity to up to 5 staff members every morning and afternoon at each campus. So you're helping 50 to 100 staff members to earn some extra pay for the summer through the extended hours program. And all of those fees go to them. Camps R Us does not profit from extended hours whatsoever. So that's important to know too. Alrighty. Nydia, you tried the password from enrollment. It's not allowing you to log into Campanion. Just shoot us an email. We will take care of that for you, I promise. If we have to do a reset with your password, whatever it is, we can help you with Campanion. We want to make sure that you're also trying to log into the actual Campanion app, not the website I was on. I was on the admin page because that's me. When you go to Campanion, it's the Campanion app on your device. You guys don't access it from a desktop or a computer. You got to access it through the app directly. So make sure that's happening. But if not, you still having trouble, no problem. We'll help you out. Just email us, send us a chat. That's totally fine. Kimberly, do you want a job, Kimberly Romano Morales? Like, seriously, we're looking for an office person this summer. I don't know what you do during the year, but you're answering these questions like on point. Like, really, thank you so much for doing that. Appreciate it. Myrna, no, you don't have to sign up for early drop-off or late pickup. It's on demand. We're there every day, as I mentioned, 7:30 a.m. For early drop-off. We stay as late as 6 p.m. You cannot pick up after 6 p.m., so please make sure someone is there by 6, the latest. If there's an emergency, call ahead. If something happened, of course, we're going to stay. We don't abandon campers at all. But if there's an emergency, let us know. But that can't be a regular thing. You have to be there by 6. But we're there every day. Like I said, the only 2 days that we will not have afternoon extended is going to be the last day of camp, August 18th. So if you're registered for week 8, and then in week 7, I forget the day off the top of my head. Someone, if you know in the chat, say it up there if any staff are on. But the staff party, we let the staff go home right when camp ends so they can get ready for the staff party. It's probably the Thursday of week 7, but I can't think of the date. I'm thinking it's going to be like August 10th. But we will let you know of that whole thing. So that's Myrna. Yeah, George, great question. Can you add alternate pickup drop-off people? Yes, you can. Check this out. I'm going to show you folks my Camp in Touch account because I don't have any secrets here. Whoops, campsrus.campintouch. So if you're on a computer, it's campsrus.campintouch.com, and you're going to get this screen with the picture in the background. My stuff is always saved on here, but it's your email address, your password, and then you log in. And what's cool about this is you can see all of the stuff about camp right here from your computer. If you're at work, this is great. If you're on your phone, this is all in Campanion. The only thing you can't see in Campanion is financial management stuff because Campanion doesn't have the same security features as the website. But I'm going to show you how you can add additional grown-ups. And this is a great question. I love that you asked this question. So you go into Forms Dashboard, Forms and Documents. Don't laugh because all my health forms are overdue. You're going to see it in a second. Technically, I don't need them because I'm year-round. But if you see all my forms are overdue, all my kids are done though. So at least I got one part of it right. So when you go in here, you're going to see forms. For staff members, they say my forms. You're not going to see that. Most parents, except the moms and dads who work with us. But you'll see under your children's forms, you'll scroll past your kids. There's Layla and Macy. And then you'll see forms and documents for your family. So you're going to see a couple of things here. One, if you have a workforce discount, you can put your proof of employment up there. You can opt into text messaging, right? That's an easy one. And then you have children's camps in New York State. This pulls up a New York State required brochure that has to be available in your camp account by law for us regulated camps. And I'm going to tell you as parents, and I can tell you as a camp professional, choosing a regulated camp, choosing one that is part of the New York State Camp Directors Association, that's part of Long Island Camps and Private Schools, that is accredited by the American Camp Association, and we're actually getting reaccredited this year. I'm very excited for that. We are still accredited, but they do a visit every bunch of years, and it was kind of messed up during COVID, so we get our reaccreditation for the next 5 to 7 years this summer. This is required of us, and you're going to see when it comes to safety and security and health and wellness, you can't get better than a regulated, accredited camp. So we appreciate you choosing us. That's what that is. But to your question, the pickup authorization form, this is going to give you access to authorized adults. So if you see in here, and I make a joke here, and so I hope you laugh at this one. I didn't even realize this was still in here. So, George, if you're looking on the screen, if not, you'll check out the video. But I have Gary and Joanne Turner in here. Gary and Joanne are founders, my parents, the kids' grandparents. So, Gary, they call Pa. Joanne, they call Gaga. This is when Layla was little. She couldn't say Grandma and Grandpa, so she said Gaga and Pa. You can put their name, their birthday, their phone number, their gender. You can put notes. So if you see, for my dad, I put, please give him a hard time whenever possible. And it's not very often that, mom or dad are not picking the girls up. But if we're busy or caught up at a campus or there's an emergency or something, we have mom and dad to help out. But their code, you can have a code word. I gave them code sentences. Like, I'm the owner of the camp, buddy. Like, come on, man. You don't have to check my ID, but they still do. And I love the staff who check ID. Maybe they haven't met Gary and Joanne. It's like undercover boss sometimes. And then same thing for Gaga over here. So this is where you add them. You can just add another authorized grown-up, and it pops up a screen for you to add. And it takes you into a form, actually. So this is going to pull you back into a form. It's going to take a second, but you'll be able to see it as soon as it loads. If you ever have trouble adding an authorized adult, by the way, you can email it to us, and we can add it for you. You can do this at a moment's notice. So you can add in all this information. You can add in a photo, and then you can save it. And they can be authorized for one or both children if you have multiple kids. If you have a situation where custody is different for different children, you can take care of that. if you want to authorize friends of other parents of other campers, like friends and that kind of thing. It's a very cool system. So it allows you to really specify exactly who's going to pick up. So these folks are going to be authorized adults in your camp account. And they live there until you tell us to take them out. And here I am, I'm back on the screen now. So George, that's the answer. Now also, any parent or guardian listed on the account has access for pickup. And then also any emergency contact you listed in your health documents, your health history, usually that's 2 folks, they're going to have access as well. So check that out, double check to make sure it's the folks you want. You can add them at a moment's notice, even if it's 5 minutes before that you get to camp. When we do dismissal, our staff check against your photo ID and make sure they're going home with the right people. Kyle, you're welcome. Kimberly, you're on point with these questions. Thank you. All right, we have a bunch more that just came in. This is fantastic. I'm really trying to get to all of them. We have over 100 questions in here. Some of them are repeats, so I'm going to skip over them. All right, you're welcome. There we go. Okay. I'm so glad you have so much apparel, Kim. Yeah, it's cool having camp gear and just wearing it around. Beyond, is it Blanca? I can't see if it's an I or an L. I think it's Blanca. What does C2's typical day look like? A C2's day looks just like a camper's day, except from a C2's perspective. So C2, for those of you who don't know, and a lot of folks ask about it because it's a discounted rate. I know it's like 60% off the regular rate, because these are 9th graders who are transitioning from campers to staff. They can't quite be campers because they're a little too old, can't quite be staff because they're a little too young. And at regulated camps, we can't hire anyone under 15 years old to work with children in any capacity that helps us with ratio, with supervision. So we have the C2 program. C2 meaning camper to counselor. And it's almost like Camp Souris University, right? It's learning how to become a staff member. If you have a successful summer, whatever length of your summer is during your C2 year, if you're successful, meaning you've listened, you've been responsible, you've helped with the group, you've learned from staff, you've asked questions, you've done all the things to show us that you want to be a staff member, you are offered a position the following summer, and it's guaranteed. That's pretty amazing. So C2s go through their camp day being assigned to different age groups throughout the summer. So you usually rotate through all the age groups depending on how many C2s are at your campus or how many groups there are. So it varies, but most times C2s will rotate from kinder camp through 6th grade. And they'll rotate through each group. They'll do it a week at a time or 2 weeks at a time. So they'll attend activities with their campers. They'll go on trips. They'll do special events with them. And then they also get their own free time at camp, where they have time where, like, if the game room's empty for a period, they can go play with other C2s. If the arcade's empty, they can go chill with other folks in the arcade, that kind of stuff. They get privileges that other campers don't, like they get to go on some bonus trips free of charge if their group is attending. We don't charge C2s for any bonus trips. So it's a really nice perk to be a C2. It's a really cool program. I can tell you from experience, back in the day when we used to call it a counselor and training program, or CIT, which a lot of you in the camp world would know, I did it for 4 summers, believe it or not. And that's because of just how my birthday fell. But I didn't get any exception to the rule of being hired at 16 at that time. It was 16 years old for hiring. And I did this program for a bunch of years. It was very beneficial for me to realize that I wanted to be a camp counselor, and deciding to go into that and do that over my summers was really great for me, even though I was not a great camp counselor when I first started, and that's another podcast. But you learn a lot. You get to experience things with staff. You're really treated like a more mature person and a young adult, and you've shown a lot of respect as a C2, so it's really great. Tracy's answering here, the Adventureland lunch for anyone wants to know. Grilled cheese hot dog or hamburger or pizza. And there's 5 options for snacks. It'll all be built into one price. So when you register for that, you'll get all those options. Barat, you're welcome. Nydia, you're welcome. Kimberly, if you are really looking for a job, you need to email me. I need an office assistant this summer to help us with transportation and to help us with the phones and to help us with communicating. And you already know a lot of this stuff from what I can tell. We got to talk. So send me an email. I'm not kidding. I have a job description ready to go. And it also means, I'll be honest with, and I'll tell all the parents on here, I'm going to look you right in the camera here. If you work at camp in any capacity, you get a serious discount on camp. So let me just tell you, if you don't know and you're free this summer, let me tell you the deal we offer, because we're one of the only camps that does it this way. You get your full salary. Full salary. So whatever position you take, and most parents are group leader level, like senior group leader level or above. So it's basically hovering around minimum wage. Okay? That's one. Two, your children come for a total of $300 for the whole summer. That's it. You pay for your bonus trips and all that stuff, fine. But $300 for the whole summer. That's 92% off our camp fees. It's 92% off tuition just for working at camp. That includes office staff. That is something we should talk about. If you're interested, you reach out to me, let me know. We don't have many positions still open this summer. We've hired over 450 staff for this summer. We're one of the largest seasonal employers on Long Island. And it's an amazing group of folks, young people who are just so dedicated to what they're going to be doing. But if you want to be a parent on our team, there are plenty of parents who signed up to work. If I have any jobs open, certainly love to get parents on board. We need someone as an office assistant just to help with general tasks and help with coordinating our busing. We run 1,200 charters or so for the summer. I'm not kidding. It's that many buses. So it's a really cool job. It's in our main office. There's friendly people here. It's a lot of buzz, a lot of stuff going on, but it's air conditioned. There is also a puppy that hangs out here named Winnie. That's Cheryl and my new and our kid's new dog. But she comes to the office. We have our work puppy. So it's really cool. We went off the topic here, but we'll get back there. KJ, do we let kids leave with parent permission at dismissal? Maybe. This is a great question from KJ. So kids who you want to have walk home, you have to provide a letter. You have to provide a mapped route for them to follow. You have to show us that you have tracking software on a device that they can have, so you know where they are at all times. We will call you and confirm the time they're leaving every single day, and you will have to call us to confirm they're home. It's a lot of steps to make sure they're safe, but if you live in the neighborhood of your campus and you want your child to walk home, all of those steps must be followed. We have a form for walkers. It's like an exception to regular dismissal. If you're interested in having your child walk home from camp, just email us, we'll get you the form. It's possible, but you got to prove all that stuff to us to keep them safe. That's an important one for us. Alrighty. Kimberly, week 7, Thursday, August. Oh my goodness, thank you. All right. I think, did I get all the questions? No, I didn't get all the questions. Here we go. Bharat, if you take a vacation for one of your booked weeks of camp, can you cancel and get credited back? No, I'm sorry to say. At this point, we don't accept changes like that. It's too close to the camp season. And it's not because we're hard-hearted people. It's because a couple of things have happened that we can't take back. One, we've hired all our staff, with a couple of exceptions. There's a handful that are still being hired for positions that we're filling up, like an activity staff member here or a group leader there. And that happens generally if folks get a full year position and can't take the summer job, or if they just weren't able to get to their training and orientation, we have to find someone new. But that's happened. We've scheduled trips, we've scheduled busing, we've bought all the materials. All the stuff's purchased and being delivered out to camps now based on current enrollment and a little bit of anticipated enrollment. Enrollment's still open for the rest of the summer, including the first week up until today, and then week 2 and later starting next week. So we can't take that stuff back. We also can't take back our insurance payments. We can't take back a lot of regulatory payments we've made. So you can't cancel mid-season. If you're going to book a vacation, and I know it's hard with the way the world works nowadays and schedules and work and families and things like that, try to book it before you register for camp, or do it before April 1st, which is our change date. And then you can change your stuff before April 1st. So I apologize, you can't make changes. We don't give credits for absences, stuff like that, not this time of year. Alrighty, I think I got to all the questions. I think. If I didn't answer your question, I'm sorry. That's number one. There were 106 questions that came through. We have been on now for almost 2 hours, which is the longest podcast I think I've ever done. Normally we like to keep it 45 to an hour. So if you stuck with me the whole time, thank you. If you're listening live, thank you for being here. If there's information that you didn't get and you're like, hey, wait, I need to know something, don't worry. On Monday morning, I'm going to send out an email to everybody. They look automatic, but I promise it's a person. It's me. I'm going to send it out to you. It's going to have links to our parent guide, which I'll show you quick actually before we wrap. I'll do it one more time. Hang on. Let's look at the screen here. And if we go to the parent guide, this document gives you everything you need to know. It's available all year. It's updated all year. So we talk about it here, and then you can read the parent guide. There's 3 links. You can't miss it. Parent guide is a Google Doc. It's a living document. You will not have editing access, so yours will not look like this. But when you go in here, it's got a table of contents, and when you click on the table of contents, it will tell you and take you to that section of the parent guide. What's great is same information that's on the website. So whether you read the website getting ready for camp or you go to the parent guide, this tells you everything you need to know. It talks about every aspect of camp we could think of to let you know, so that you feel confident about your first day, you feel confident about your child being at camp, and you have peace of mind during the summer. That is so important for parents, and I say it all the time. We talk to staff about it all the time. Parent peace of mind is certainly a part of the camp experience. When you're off at work or you're doing your thing wherever you are during the camp day, we don't want you to worry. It's so important that you know what we're doing and how we're doing it. We're very transparent about how camp works. We take you through a day at camp. We talked about rules, policies, procedures, the app, what we do on rainy or hot days. There's a ton of medical information in here, all that cool stuff. And you can see it's all organized, so you can click on different sections and see everything, or you can go right to the table of contents. Even if you don't have like a Google device or anything else, you can still view this thing. You don't need a Google account or a Gmail account. It's a pretty great document. It's, like I said, it's a living document. It's 25 pages, I believe, 24 pages. Gives you all your contact information, gives you all your stuff, lets you know it's subject to change. If you're looking at the parent guide and something doesn't make sense, just email me or call or send a chat or put a post up in the Camp Parent Association, which I will show everybody. If you're on this right now, I think you know about the Parent Association, but just in case you don't. And wow, there's like a video of me playing at the top while we're doing this. Now this is my admin side of things, so you can see kind of what I see when I see the group. Is how I manage the group. But it's got posts. You see that we're live right here. This is going to be a weird meta kind of thing because it's a little bit on delay if you're watching the video. So interesting. So you can go on the Parent Association, just post a question. It's open for posting questions, and I try to respond to everything. If I don't, just tag me. Just tag me, hit @JasonTurnier, and it's just my name. And you can see people, right here, all those folks. You can tag anybody. You can invite friends and family who are coming to Camp Saros if they're not in the Parent Association. This is kind of like all things crew. It's the hub. It's where everything goes. There's 1,300 members in there now. It's a lot of parents. Not everybody, but a lot. And so it's great to see everybody in there. You can invite folks in. They just have to answer a couple of questions about are they enrolled in which campus, and we take it away from there. So there we go. I think we've kind of come to the end today, folks. And I really want to say I appreciate everyone who was on the call, the podcast today. It means a lot to me, putting out this information, sharing it, being able to podcast. I listen to a lot of podcasts, both for professional purposes and camp purposes, but also for entertainment. And I'm really envious, and I guess I don't want to say envious. I like to hear what other people think. I like to get some perspective. I also like insider information, and I feel like part of the perk of my position here at camp as a managing director, I get to give you an insider's look and kind of an insider's take, because I'm a camp parent. I'm in charge of everything that happens here at camp as far as daily operations go, and I can just give you information directly as far as policies, procedures. But what's also great too is if you have a question and it has the impact of helping us to change a policy or modify a policy, that's really magical too. being able to do that and to understand your needs and what you're looking for in camp and building community based on the needs of the community is really what it's all about for us. So thank you so much for being here. These questions were amazing. We're going to wrap it up for now, but I want you to know we're going to be doing live podcasts throughout the summer. We're going to have recorded ones as well. If you want to find Q&A with Big J, you can grab it from our website, from our Facebook or Instagram pages. You're going to see all of the episodes posted to our Podbean website, which is linked from our website. And you can also get it wherever you get your podcasts, on Apple or Spotify or Amazon or YouTube. We're up on all those platforms as well. Please feel free to share this with any new families who couldn't get on here or future families who are considering camp. And please reach out to me if you have any questions. You can reach me directly, jason.turnier@campsaurus.org. The main email is info@campsaurus.org. Those come to me as well. The chats on any of the socials, the chat on our website. Give us a call, shoot us an email. We want to hear from you. We're looking forward to seeing you on June 26th, the folks that are starting week 1. And there's a lot of you. And then the folks who are coming later in the summer, I'm sure we're going to get to see you too. If you see me on campus, please stop me and say hello. I'd love to talk and catch up. For all the folks who only know me electronically or only maybe hear my voice when you're on hold here at the office, it'll be so great to see you in person. We're looking forward to it. This is our 31st camp season coming up in 2023, and it's going to be our best ever. We really appreciate you being with us. Thanks so much for staying on with me for almost 2 hours today. This was a great one. We got so much information out there. More to come. Have a great weekend. Have a great Father's Day for the dads out there and families celebrating. We have staff training tomorrow. We're going to be up at the Farmingdale campus from 7:30 till 5 p.m. doing staff training. We are one of the most comprehensive training programs out there. If you want to stop by and say hello, feel free. Other than that, have a great day. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon. Thanks so much.